Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dan Theok, Senior Vice President of Investment Banking. Thank you for joining us today for a very special investor briefing where we'll be looking at Express Catering Limited. On the panel with me today, we are joined by Ian Dare, CEO of Express Catering Limited, and our very own Gary Parrott. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you, Dan.
Welcome, Gary.
Hi, Gary. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, gentlemen, for being here. If you're a fan of the content, then don't forget to subscribe. Also hit the bell to stay up to date with the channel. We upload content like this just about once a week. If you want to embark on your very first investment journey, take that very first step with Mayberry. Follow us on social media to learn more about how you can get started today. Okay, well, folks, it's here. We've been working on this for several weeks now, and I am proud to announce the invitation by Express Catering Limited, a public offering which will open next week, Friday, on February the 9th and close on March the 8th. In fact, I'd be surprised if it isn't oversubscribed and sold out within the first week. Express Catering Limited will be offering a bond to the public, trying to raise between 10 to 12 million US dollars. That bond will be paying interest at the rate of 8.5% per annum in US dollars, with the interest rate to be paid quarterly. And the minimum subscription amount to retail investors will be 100 US dollars. So here's a great opportunity for folks to get invested into a good company that's going to pay the bond 8.5% per annum, quarterly payments in US dollar payments, and you only need to come up with $100. It's a senior unsecured bond, and it will have lots of great financial covenants and restrictions in it. We encourage you to look at the prospectus to learn further details. But in the program, what we want to do is introduce you guys to Express Catering Limited. We've got the CEO here with us, talk a little bit about it, and share some extracts of that prospectus with you. Of course, if you want to get access to the full prospectus, you'll have three ways to do so, either on the Mayberry Investments website, the Jamaica Stock Exchange website, or you can go to successwithexpressjamaica.com. So I encourage you guys to read the prospectus, speak to your investment advisor, and go and get yourself some ECL bonds.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica, with bonds starting as low as $100. Now, you're probably wondering what Express Catering Limited is and what we do. Well, the next time you visit the Sangster International Airport, just before you get to the gate to board your flight, that's all us. From Domino's to Auntie Anne's, we've been proud to serve you from our 17 brands across 25 locations for the past 23 years. And our successful IPO raises stand as a testament of our dedication and commitment to continued growth with you, our investors. So don't miss out on this exciting opportunity. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com to see the prospectus and get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
Okay, Ian, tell me a little bit
Hi,
about
Dan.
Express Catering Limited.
Thank you for having me again, Dan and Gary. Really great always to be here. Express Catering, we started operating at the Sangster International Airport in 2001. However, in 2011, we negotiated a contract for the exclusive rights for the food and beverage in the post-security space. We are actually operating a total of 17 brands at the Sangster International Airport with 28 locations. The majority of the locations, however, are in the post-security space where, of course, most of our customers are in a captive area and they consume basically all the food and beverage offerings that we do have. We have 15 food and beverage brands in the post-security space across 25 locations. It's a mixture of international brands and proprietary brands and local brands. So we provide basically all the food and beverage experiences in that post-security space. Plus, on the pre-security space, we do offer on the arrival side a number of different experiences. So it's a very exciting time, obviously, for Express Catering, because we are seeing numbers that we have never seen before in terms of tourism arrivals into Jamaica. and we have access to that entire set of customers.
Great, thanks for that. And we'll be doing a quick financial review of the company as well, too, for you folks on the program. But second question before I do that, Ian, why do you feel comfortable borrowing in US dollars?
Well, it's a simple thing for us, actually. 100% of our revenue, practically 100% of our revenue is in US dollars. So that's where we earn our money. That's the currency we earn our money. So we're very comfortable with the fact that our revenues are growing, our margins are continue to grow, and they're all in US currency. So it's a no-brainer for us. That it's a currency that we are comfortable in borrowing in.
Great, that makes sense and perhaps explains why you're able to get the Bank of Jamaica no objection to move forward with this raising, as well as why we were able to get all of the regulatory approvals required to be able to bring this public offering to you folks, which includes no objections from the FSC, the GSC, and from Companies Office of Jamaica. So once again, I encourage everybody to go out and look at that prospectus. So what I want to do is look back at the company's performance for the last 5 years, and my folks will bring up a financial highlight that shows you the revenues, the net profit, and the profit margins of the company. And what you can see here is a company that, pre-pandemic was making 11%, 12% gross profit, net profit margins comfortably. They definitely got hammered during the pandemic. There's no doubt about that. For a 2-year period, while visitor arrivals were down, and obviously your business is down, Ian.
Yeah.
And what we've seen happen is post-pandemic, in 2023, we see the company bouncing back really well. In fact, when we look at the next slide and we look at the financial performance, we can see the revenues of the company, certainly for the half year to November 2023, are up by 23% to $5.2 million US. And the company has made a profit after tax of $187,000 US for that half year. When you look in the prospectus and look at the 5-year performance, you'll see that Express has had years where they've made 2, 3, up to $4 million US profit. And so I fully expect over the next year that the company will return to its former glory as they have a full year of post-pandemic arrivals. Next slide, we want to show you tourism arrivals to give you a feel for the fact that Jamaica has been growing and the number of tourism arrivals over the last decade. And again, you can see the huge fall off in tourism arrivals in 2021-22, again, because of the pandemic. And Express Catering Limited's revenues are directly linked to the traffic that's coming through the airport. Great. So again, we think a bet on Express is a bet on tourism. And so we're excited to bring this offering to you. But Ian, tell me, so you're in the airport. We've seen those numbers growing, but talk a little bit about growth opportunities for Express Catering Limited in general.
Thank you again, Dan. So, 2023 calendar year is probably, it has ended up being our best tourism year in our history. 2019, pre-pandemic, was the standard that we use as the best year prior to 2023. 5.2 million passengers or guests came to Jamaica. And so we benefited with seeing unprecedented levels of business. And we anticipate our financial year of 2023-24 being one of our strongest in our history. So, it bodes well because the opportunities for growth is we see not only coming from the increase in volume of passengers going through the airport, which we have access to and we sell our offerings to, but we see opportunities of efficiencies, increase in spend per passenger, providing additional offerings that is relevant to our consumer, our customer. And in addition to that, we are embarking on not only the captive airport business, which is our primary historical business, growing the existing business, but we're also looking at other airports in the region, in Jamaica. In addition to that, we have taken a decision to take some of our great international brands out from the airport into the Jamaican marketplace. And so we'll be testing that relevance and consumption appreciation of what we want to put into the local market this year. And that will be on the arrivals area at the airport as a starting point. And then we plan to roll out across Jamaica. There are two brands in particular that we're considering, Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's Pretzels, which we think will be well received by the Jamaican population. So what that means is that not only are we going to be leveraging our position within the framework of the airport at Sangster, but we are going to be expanding our business model into the wider population and providing those food and beverage offerings into that space. So our model is going to expand. I think it gives the company a lot more breadth and depth into what its offerings look like and who our customer base is.
Well, thanks for that. And that's great to know. So not only can we count on the substantial growth in tourism that's expected with over 5,000 hotel rooms coming online in the next 3 years, you're saying that you guys will also look at using your brand relationship to expand those brands outside of the airport. And it really is, folks, impressive. I mean, you have to go to the Montego Bay Airport. You have to look at the food court and the offerings that they have. I'll try to put up a video at the end of the program to show you guys a little bit about what that looks like. It's truly impressive. Additionally, last week we did a program where we covered the financial performance of Express Catering Limited. So I encourage you guys to look at that. Also, if you want to see a little bit more in-depth dive into the actual financial performance of the business. Another thing that I'm impressed with, Ian, is when I look at the top 10 shareholders of Express Catering Limited, it's clear to me that we have large investors who have good faith in this company that came to the market several years ago. And in the top 10, I'll use that opportunity to declare our little conflict, Mayberry as a top 5 shareholder, albeit with a relatively small position, 2%. And then you see the likes of National Insurance Fund as a top 5 shareholder with an 11% interest. So this is a company, folks, that has a confidence of large investors, large institutional investors, large investment banks, and retail investors. So I really think this is a good investment for you. And then last bit, and I'll shut up and I'll allow Gary to ask a question or two, is I'm also impressed with the management. You know, when we're investing in companies, folks, we also look at the management of the company, its experience and its capabilities. And if you look at the board of directors for ECL, I think you'll agree with me, and my guys will put that up on the screen for you to see. But just to name two, it has the like of John Biles and Professor Andrew Spencer. So, pretty impressive board, Ian. Hey, Gary, over to you. Do you have a question or two for Ian?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. So, Ian, congrats on the turnaround. But, keeping the turnaround, you guys went through COVID and, you took on debt to survive that. And you've seen that you have survived and you're coming out. But explain to us how you're going to manage that debt down. And then also with this new bond offer, how is it going to improve the results of the business?
Right. Thank you for that question, Gary. Obviously, the objective is to, with our current growth model that we're enjoying, with the additional sales and bottom line at the airport, ECL will certainly grow from strength to strength. And so that fiscal space will definitely, I think, allow us to deleverage as much as we can and as quickly as we can with more time. The trajectory is very encouraging. Tourism is seeing unprecedented levels, as I said earlier, and that's going to be a direct correlation to our profitability and our revenue models. So that part is definitely going to assist us in deleveraging. This bond that we have taken on now to raise up to $12 million is primarily to pay down $9 million of existing debt for, at a better price. And in addition to the difference they will be used for working capital in the company to allow us to continue to grow and to take advantage and leverage the opportunities that the additional arrivals represent. So it is a very exciting time for us. We are in a great place. We're in a sweet spot of tourism. Literally every single visitor that comes to the island and leaves the island consumes what we offer. And so that is going to reflect in our revenue models. In addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, we are also trying to diversify. So we're trying to get into additional revenue spaces that will allow us to have a different source of income. And that also will contribute in I think, a significant way in putting the company in a position to deleverage as quickly as possible. I hope that answers your question.
Good deal. So in short, you're borrowing to refinance for the most part, to take out debt, and it's in the prospectus from Sickness Capital. That costs you 12% all in, and you're replacing that with lower cost funding at 8.5%. So in of itself, that frees up more capital and lowers your financing costs. And then some of those proceeds are for working capital support on the back of your recent expansion at the airport. So this is about growing the business and lowering your cost of funding. Okay, thanks for that. Gary, any additional question from you?
Can you update us on your Bob Marley One Love restaurant? I mean, it seems to have gotten a lot of attraction. And, are there any other brands that you're looking at that will help with the expansion? And finally, I guess the question is, there's a finite amount of space in the airport. So short of them, building more space, what percentage of the available space do you currently have, and how can you potentially expand that?
So that was a mouthful. Thank you very much, Gary. But the Rotunda area where we actually expanded recently, and that has been a major focus of our recent investment. We have opened up a new food court where we opened up what we refer to as the guitar bar, and we opened up Bob Marley's One Love. And so the area is actually referred to as the Rotunda area. We are also expanding that further by putting in 2 additional concepts called Bento Sushi and Freshens. And so that entire area where we have seen, as forecasted, a significant uptick in revenue. The consumption patterns have been very, very strong in that space. And, so we have a couple things that we're doing to ensure that we maximize the spend per passenger in that area. Bob Marley's One Love in particular, honestly, I'm so proud of the team, and of course representing such an incredible brand, the first one of its kind in the world, and the only one of its kind in the world, has performed beyond our expectations. Our numbers will reflect that in the future, but we are very, very pleased with the customer response and the consumption patterns that we're enjoying. It's a great brand. It's a great experience. And the entire area, people come there and they literally do not want to leave. Some almost miss their flights, believe it or not. But, between the new guitar bar area and Bob Marley, along with just energy in that space, it really has lent itself to a different level of consumption that we are really haven't seen before. And so it's very encouraging, because this was all very scientifically done in partnership with a UK firm, and it's paying off. It's paying off in a big, big way, and we are excited about the direction. So the additional opportunities on the outside, I believe, is also going to realize some nice revenue opportunities for ECL, with us expanding into Jamaica. I'm not sure if I caught all the questions that you asked. Did I cover it, Gary?
You did most of it, so I can give you a B+.
Thank you very much. Coming from you, that means a lot.
And you get an A+ from me for the design, the layout of the facility. Again, I said it in a program, I think last year, December-ish. I went through the airport in November, Ian, and I was just so impressed. In short, folks, you feel like you're in foreign in a really nice, food court area with, over 20 different food stores and offerings. And I got there 2 hours early to catch my flight, and I got through in 20 minutes through customs. I spent an hour really enjoying your offerings.
So Dan, I just want to add, one of the things that we've tried to take on is how do we improve the spend? And we're going to be deploying additional opportunities like roving servers.
Yeah.
So where people can sit at our guitar bar and they literally can order every single brand that's in the area. And I think that will go along.
Excellent, absolutely. I moved through at least two stores, including doing some drinking while I was there, and so that's a great idea because it's a great product, and that's why I'm endorsing it wholeheartedly, and it's a great company with great management, and so folks, in short, we think it's a great opportunity. So we encourage you guys to read the prospectus. This will open, like I said, next week, Friday, on February the 9th, and I think it's going to close, fairly quickly. First come, first serve. Again, salient points, minimum investments, $100 US. It's going to pay 8.5% per annum. Interest will be paid out quarterly. There'll be at least 3 ways you can get at this. As we said, at the Mayberry website, the Jamaica Stock Exchange website, or you can go to successwithexpressjamaica.com. In terms of selling agents, we're going to have, I think, at least 4 selling agents, Scotiabank, VM, JMMB, and hopefully NCB. So those will more than likely be the 4 selling agents. You'll hear a lot more to come over the upcoming week. There'll be a good advertising campaign behind this to make you guys more familiar with the products, the services, the offering, and what Express Catering Limited itself is. And with that, we are going to bring today's program to a close. I really want to thank Ian for being with us yet again. We always appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
And Gary, thanks so much for being on the panel and supporting the program as well, too.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Gary.
For a successful race, guys.
I'm certain of it. Well, folks, that's it for today's discussions. Big thanks to our panelists for making this such a great discussion. Folks, I hope this was very enlightening for you today. And if you're curious about our updates on our virtual investor forum, then find us on social media as usual. We share our live stream dates and upcoming guests on our official social media pages. So give us a follow to learn all things forum related. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mayberry Investments Limited, and click the bell to receive future notifications. Well, remember, wise investors, slow and steady wins the race. Keep safe, everyone. Goodbye.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica, with bonds starting as low as $100. Now, you're probably wondering what Express Catering Limited is and what we do. Well, the next time you visit the Sangster International Airport, just before you get to the gate to board your flight, that's all us. From Domino's to Auntie Anne's, we've been proud to serve you from our 17 brands across 25 locations for the past 23 years. And our successful IPO raises stand as a testament of our dedication and commitment to continued growth with you, our investors. So don't miss out on this exciting opportunity. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com to see the prospectus and get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.